G'day guys, I'm going to show you in this next series of videos the tutorial that I was talking about earlier on in one of the first videos about how to build one of these little Tudor homes. Part 3. It's taken a while, sorry guys. I had to go to Queensland for business. I had a paintball tournament come up recently and I've been a little bit slack working on other things. So I'm getting back to this, how to make a Tudor building. Before we left, we got to, I don't know where my little structure's gone that I built. It was kind of crappy and useless, but I think you get the idea if you watch the second part. You can use all different types of cardboard to build that frame. Once we get the frame built, we move on to the next stage. Now, I was saying that I was going to use this building here to do the tutorial, but this is a little bit more elaborate. The building that I made looked very much like this one, except small and crappy. So I'm going to use this one and finish off the balsa wood frames. It's fairly straightforward. We'll jump into that right now. Okay, so for putting the balsa wood supports onto the building here, it's a fairly straightforward process. You need to make sure that you've got some balsa wood. Now you can buy this from most craft stores, some hardware stores like Bunnings and those types of places, or Home Depot probably for you guys in the US or whatever you have in the UK. You can buy these in different sorts of packs with different thicknesses and strengths and all that sort of stuff. Get yourself whatever thickness that you would like to use for your struts. It doesn't really make too much of a difference, just as long as most of them on the outside are the same. Take your piece of balsa wood, cut it up into strips. Now obviously for that you'll need yourself a scalpel, a hobby knife, an X-Acto knife, whatever you want to call it, just one of these normal little hobby knives. A ruler so you can make your cuts relatively straight. This rule is also going to come in useful for measuring our building and putting our struts on. Cool. So how do we go about doing it? You've got all your balsa wood cut into strips, lengths of it. I've already laid down some structures here. Now it's fairly straightforward. All you need to do, and sometimes it's easier if you don't have the roof on here, is measure how long you need your beam to reach from the bottom up to the roof. In this case it's what? 10.5 centimeters. Then take your balsa wood, measure out your 10.5 centimeters, cut it, and glue it on the side. I mean, you can't get any more simple than that. Now, since I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what have I got? 2, 4, 6, 8 beams on the side of the building. Cut 8 of these at the same time. It makes it a lot easier because then you can just glue, stick it on there, glue, stick it on there, glue, stick it on there. Same thing for all the other struts. Once you've got those ones glued on, you know what you need to measure. So stick your ruler inside the gap there. There's a 12 centimeter gap in between the two pillars. So again, measure out your balsa wood, cut it. I needed 1, 2, so cut 2, glue it on the sides. Then measure this gap here, glue those ones on. Then measure your roof sections. I haven't put one down the bottom here, but I will. And then you start to eventually end up with sort of something that's going to have a frame. Obviously 2 floors, etc. Then as you go through, you can add a bit more detail. So I'll add a little bit more detail simply by measuring the gap, cutting the balsa wood and gluing it on. So I'll do a couple and I'll come back to you. Okay, so I'm just going to glue a couple of these struts on here. I had the ruler out before just to measure everything exactly. Sometimes once you've got your structure semi in place, you can just put it in there and make your cut. Score the balsa wood, cut it, and then test fit it. If it fits okay, glue it in place. A little bit of glue on there, Whoops. A little bit of glue on there. And then we just whack it in place wherever you've got it. Keep on going around doing that. So I want to have one beam down the middle here. I'm going to put another, I'm going to put two beams along here, one beam here with a little window in the middle over the top of this one. So again, I just measure it, then I just score my balsa wood and then cut it. Now I need two of these, so I'll cut them both at the same length. I'll just test fit that. Yeah, beautiful. I'll cut two of these. I mean, the process is fairly straightforward. It can take a little bit of time sometimes. Just depends on how elaborate you're getting with your designs, etc. Excuse me. Obviously, multiple floors and multiple levels is going to take a little bit more effort. So we just glue these into place like this. And I'm not going to show you the whole video, that'd be incredibly boring. I'd have to do a lot of talking, which I don't mind doing. I do a fair bit in my job as a software trainer. Then again, the little window in the middle, it's about there, so we'll cut one of these, test fit it, beautiful. Cut two of these. Come on, don't be a bastard. Cut two of these. Always make sure you test fit your pieces, just so that they're going to fit in place. And then I just whack that in there. And once I get this last one in, all of a sudden you'll see a little window. There we go. Little window. You know, in my last video I showed you how to make the frame with some serial card, or in my case I didn't have any serial card, so I was just demonstrating it with a piece of manila folder. But you may want to use some cardboard from a packing box or something like that. Only because sometimes the cardboard can warp, which makes gluing these balsa struts on a little bit difficult. But there we go. Going to add a little bit more detail just to embellish it. I mean, we do have a second story here, so what do we need for a second story? Some supports. How do I do the supports? I just cut random lengths. Then I just take a 45 angle on it, on both sides. It's difficult to show you, that you can still see. And then I glue it in. So you just keep on going around and doing that. You know, I think I've stuffed up here. I might have to put a door here, because I was going to have my entrance coming in here and put the door on there. Sometimes it helps to draw on the building like I did before. So maybe I could put the door on this side or something. But just keep on going around and doing that. We've been going through adding a detail to our Tudor home. We just want to go through now all the way around and do all of the details. Don't forget to do the top sections of the roof here. In the next episode, guys, I'll show you how we get to the stage of doing the detailing of the plaster effects inside the wooden beams. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do that, but we'll go through that in that video.